All right, true believers, welcome to another episode of the Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries. I'm your host, John Krupa. Today we're going to look into a case of a missing girl from 1983, May 11th, 1983 to be exact. She has never been seen or heard from again. Her name is Susan Marie Ann Cerritelli. This is what she looked like, and this is the man right here that's the prime suspect of her disappearance. She is labeled an endangered missing person. People think that he did it, but there is no evidence supporting that idea. Join me today as we take a look into this lady's case. Her name is Susan Marie Ann Cerritelli. She's from a place in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. It's in the northeast of Pennsylvania, and it's called Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Alright, so we're going to draw her and tell you about her story at the same time. This story has Mafia connections. She's been missing since 5/11/1983. Is missing from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Her classification is endangered missing. Her sex is female. Race, she was an Asian girl. She is an Asian girl. We have no idea what happened to her, where she is, if she's still alive, if she's dead. The age when she disappeared was she was 26 years old. Height was 5'1", approximately 100 pounds. The distinguishing characteristics were she was Asian and she had black hair, brown eyes. Susan's nickname in Chinese, Sue, is Sue. She has a tattoo of a bird of paradise on the back of her right shoulder. Some agencies give middle name as Marie or refer to her as Susan Marie Rath Cerritelli. Susan was last seen at her home in Long Pond, Pennsylvania at noon on May 11th of 1983. Her husband, Andrew Cesar Cerritelli, said he left their home at noon to go to Philadelphia, PA. And when he returned at 6 p.m., she was no longer there. She was missing. She has never been seen or heard from again. Andrew reported her missing. All of Susan's family lived out of state at the time of this disappearance, but it's uncharacteristic of her not to contact them, and they all believed foul play was involved in her case. Andrew was known as a controlling, jealous husband with a substantial criminal record, mostly for violent offenses, and he had bragged about being an enforcer for the Mafia. A photo of him is posted with the case summary, and I showed you that beginning. He was the prime suspect in Susan's case, but charges were never brought against him. He remarried after her disappearance and continued to have brushes with the law. In 1998, a jailhouse snitch told police Andrew had told him he'd strangled Susan, dismembered her body, and dumped it in the ocean off the coast of Seaside Heights, New Jersey. They were interested in this fact because he had ties to Seaside Heights, New Jersey, it was said. Andrew allegedly told a girlfriend he dumped Susan's remains down a hole in the uninhabited former town of Centralia, Pennsylvania, and threatened to put her, his girlfriend, in the same hole if she ever was unfaithful to him. Police were unable to search Centralia because it's a coal fire covering miles, has been burning underground since 1962, and the air above ground is poisoned by gas fumes. Andrew died of a drug overdose in February 2007. Susan has never been located and is considered to be a victim of a homicide. But in Andrew's defense, there is no physical evidence of him being her killer. Police have no physical evidence or admission from Andrew that he was her killer and she had even been killed. The Monroe County DA's office found this information insufficient as to the theory of Andrew Cerritelli being the one that killed Susan. So even the DA's office found these theories insufficient. So the mystery here is, did this lady die? Did she run away because she was scared of her husband being in the mob? Is she in the witness protection program? There's all sorts of things that she could have done. A jailhouse snitch says Andrew did it, but that is no way close to solid evidence. Just a jailhouse guy saying that. I mean, he could have had a vendetta against that Andrew guy. It's not solid evidence. Police rushed to Andrew's house in hopes of getting a deathbed confession when Andrew was dying from drugs in 2007. Andrew's girlfriend said he dumped Susan's body in Centralia, a town that is on fire underground since the 60s. It's been on fire. Police are unable to search Centralia even to this day. Centralia is nowhere near Long Pond either. That's about an hour and a half, I would say even 2 hours even. It's far from Long Pond. Long Pond is in the northeast corner of Pennsylvania, and Centralia is in the center part of Pennsylvania. So it's far. It's not close. But residents of Centralia are familiar with Mafia people dumping. They have heard that before, being a dumping area bodies. There's even theories out there that says Jimmy Hoffa's dumped in Centralia. We'll never know the truth of that. So this article is from 2016, and this is the only and latest article I could find of this case. And it claims to have the case being closed, which is baffling to me because the case is not closed. They have no idea what happened to this lady. She could be in the witness protection program for all we know. So it's from November 11th, 2016, and it says 83 Monroe missing person murder case is closed. If you ever cheat on me, I will throw you down the hole where I threw my wife. This is the sworn statement given by Deborah Wheelis of Henryville to the Monroe County DA's office in September about what Wheelis said her boyfriend, Andrew Cesar Cerritelli, told her regarding Susan Marie Ann Cerritelli, his wife who disappeared over 33 years ago. I don't understand how they could just close the case just because a woman that was his last girlfriend before he died says this. I don't understand how they could just say, oh, it's closed now. He said he told her, you cheat on me and I will kill you. Willis told the DA's office. I guess she cheated on him, with some big wig guy, got money. He said he got a hold of her, took her for a drive, and she never came back. This is all hearsay, guys. It's all hearsay. This is not admissible in court. So in my opinion, this lady is still, and she's on the Charlie Project, she's still considered a missing, endangered lady. Andrew Cerritelli died from a drug overdose in February 2007 while living with Wheelis, her two daughters, and his father in Pocono Township, according to information compiled by First Assistant DA Michael Mancuso. At the time, state police had just begun investigating Susan Cerritelli's 24-year disappearance as a murder, with Andrew Cerritelli as the prime suspect, though police had no physical evidence or admission from him that she had been killed. So nothing. They have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. On June 1st, 1983, Andrew Cerritelli, then aged 21, gave state police a missing person affidavit he had filled out on his 26-year-old wife. He claimed he had picked up the affidavit from police about 2.5 weeks earlier, on May 14th, supposedly 3 days after he last saw her when reporting her missing. Cerritelli told police he left the couple's home on Laurel Park in Long Pond en route to Philadelphia at noon on May 11, 1983, and returned at 6 p.m. that day to find her missing. Police started a missing persons investigation and contacted Cesar Cerritelli's family, all of whom lived out of state at the time, and friends. Her loved ones said it was unusual for her to remain out of contact with them, which led to her husband being the prime suspect of foul play. Those who knew the couple said Andrew Cerritelli was jealous, controlling, and bragged about his alleged violent past as a mob enforcer. That doesn't mean he killed her, though. He could just have been a guy with a big mouth, you know? How do they even know he worked for the mob? Do they know this? I'd have to... These are all questions I have. Someone would have to investigate this better. This was not investigated properly, in my opinion. But if he knew what happened to her, he took it with him to the grave. For all we know, she could be living in Utah or something like that under a new name and have a new face. We don't know. Cesar Cerritelli's disappearance went unsolved as years passed. Andrew Cerritelli remarried but remained a prime suspect and was arrested on multiple other cases in Pennsylvania and elsewhere. In the summer of '89, police were unsuccessful in interviewing Cerritelli from a Monroe County Correctional Facility inmate at the time, who said, "If you guys are going to charge me, then charge me, and I'm not saying a word." In May of '98, a Lehigh County jail inmate reached out to police saying he had spent some time with Cerritelli when Cerritelli was locked up in Lehigh County. The inmate reported Andrew Cerritelli had admitted to strangling Susan Cerritelli over jealousy, dismembering her body, and then dumping her remains offshore in Seaside Heights, New Jersey, where Andrew supposedly had connections. It's all supposedly, and there's no solid evidence here. I'm not seeing any. Police found women Cerritelli had been involved with in the past, verifying reports of his extreme jealousy and fits of rage, and and controlling nature, but the women were still too scared to testify against him. Meanwhile, police over the years were unable to match Susan Cerritelli's body type, physical resemblance, or dental records to unidentified victims' remains found across the country. In summer of 2003, police learned Andrew Cerritelli had been arrested for violating a protection from abuse order his new wife filed against him. Police learned about letters he wrote from jail, saying he believed she was cheating on him and boasting of his alleged mob ties and threatening to scalp the man with whom he believed she was cheating. But the letters didn't mention Susan Cerritelli's whereabouts. The case was redesignated from missing person to murder in early 2007. Police became aware of 911 calls at the residence Andrew Cerritelli was sharing with Wheelis, her daughters, and his father. Learning he had been using heroin and cocaine and now dying from drug overdose, police rushed to his home in hopes of getting a deathbed confession from him, but he later was pronounced dead at Pocono Medical Center without having confessed. In summer of 2015, a police investigator who has known Wheelis since her childhood learned she was appearing at a district court hearing. The investigator approached Wheelis hoping the passage of time had made her more open to talking to police and began speaking with her to see if she could shed any light on Susan Cerritelli's fate. And here's the key. Wheelis had never met Susan Cerritelli and did not meet Andrew Cerritelli until after Susan's disappearance. So how is she magically the one that closes the case, as this article says, or leads you to believe? It's just horse crap, if you ask me. But she agreed to talk and did tell police about what Andrew had told her regarding Susan. More than a year later, in September, Wheelis reported this information in her sworn statement to DA's office. Wheelis said Andrew Cerritelli told her he had dumped Susan's remains down a hole in what was once the town of Centralia in Columbia County, where Wheelis recalled him saying at one point, "They will never find her." Police are unable to search these holes in Centralia due to a multi-square-mile coal mine fire that has been burning underground since 1962. The abandoned town has long since been uninhabitable due to noxious surface fumes caused by the underground fire. Former Centralia resident did tell police he has heard stories of mob dumping bodies there over the years. Stories is the key word, though. Stories. Still have no idea. And so ends yet another sordid tale of domestic violence and murder. So they just come to this conclusion here. I can't read anymore. It's just horse crap. You have to have collaborating evidence. Corroborating evidence. You have to have it. in order to convict. I don't know if this case will ever get solved, folks, but that is her story. This is Susan Marie Ann Cerritelli, and this is her story, guys. Peace out, true believers. Until next time.